You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News of the open source community presented by Full Circle Magazine. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Boss Bliss. This is episode 400, covering week 6, February 3rd to 9th, 2025. New bootable builds of Void Linux have been created. It is developed using a continuous cycle of updating. Using ready-made builds only makes sense for new installations. The builds are available in variants based on the glibc and Muscle system libraries. Live images with the XFCE desktop and a basic console build have been prepared for x86-64, i6-86, ARM v6L, ARM v7L, and AArch64 platforms. The ARM builds support the BeagleBone/BeagleBone Black, QB-Board 2, Odroid U2, U3, and Raspberry Pi boards, as well as Apple devices with ARM chips, Lenovo ThinkPad X13s, and Pinebook Pro. Runit is used to initialize and manage services in the distribution, and the XBPS package manager and XBPS-source package assembly system are utilized. XBPS allows you to install, remove, and update applications, identify incompatibilities with shared libraries, and manage dependencies. MiniOS 4.1 is released based on Debian and running directly from USB drive. The graphical environment is based on XFCE. The distribution uses a modular architecture that allows you to create specialized configurations, removing and adding components to adapt the system to specific tasks. The standard i386 edition is for everyday use and working with modules. The package includes Linux kernel 6.1.124 with AUFS support for hot plugging of modules. The Toolbox edition is for experienced users who need an extended set of tools for system diagnostics and recovery. In addition to the capabilities of the standard edition, Toolbox includes a set of programs for system administration, network diagnostics, traffic analysis, storage device diagnostics, and data recovery. The Ultra Edition extends it further with a suite of Office and multimedia applications such as LibreOffice, GIMP, VLC, OBS Studio, and Blender. The Docker containerization platform and graphical utilities for installing packages are also included. Supported file systems include ext234, ButterFS, XFS, exFAT, NTFS, ZFS, LVM, F2FS, JFS, RazorFS. Supported compression utilities are Zip 7Z, XZ, ZStandard, LZ4, BZip2, PigZ, PLZip, LRZip, PBZip2, LZOP. Virtualization based on QEMU-KVM with the Virtual Machine Manager graphical interface. The package includes a package with the Linux kernel from Debian 6.1.124 with Secure Boot support. The Home Library Catalog My Library 3.1 was announced. The program code is written in C++ and is available on the GPL v3 license. The graphical user interface is implemented using the GTK4 library. The program is adapted to work in Linux and Windows. A ready-made package is available in the AUR for Arch Linux users, and an experimental installer is available for Windows users. My Library catalogs book files in FB2, EPUB, PDF, DJVU formats, both directly accessible and packed into archives. Zip, 7Z, JAR, CPIO, ISO, tar, tar.gz, tar.bz2, tar.xz, and RAR, and creates its own database without changing the original files or changing the location. The integrity of the collection and its changes is monitored by creating a database of hash sums of files and archives. The FreeBSD Foundation has published a report on the achievements of a project to improve FreeBSD performance on laptops, which was launched 6 months ago and received $750,000 in investment. The stated goal of the project is to bring FreeBSD to a form that meets the needs of modern laptop users. It is a long list, so check out the link in the show notes. The Max Interactive Desktop 2.2.0 DE is presented. Max attempts to recreate the SGI Indigo Magic Desktop user shell using Linux technologies. Development is carried out under an agreement with SGI, allowing a complete recreation of all the functions of IRIX Interactive Desktop for the Linux platform. Installation instructions are prepared for Ubuntu, RHEL, Debian, Manjaro, and Arch Linux. The source code is only partially published. Some components contain a mixture of proprietary code as required by the SGI agreement and code under various open licenses. Such components are developed in private repositories and are available upon special request. At the same time, work is underway to open all the source code, rewrite the remaining proprietary code, and transfer the project to a community-controlled development model. All new code and rewritten old code are published under the BSD license. The Linux Shell Edition is implemented on top of the 5GWM window manager based on OpenMotif and SGI-Motif libraries. The project uses a modular architecture with the use of microservices for separate execution of desktop components. The composition includes systems for centralized monitoring and configuration management. Desktop extension to several monitors, high DPI, UTF-8, and FreeType fonts are supported. RoxFiler is used as a file manager with PC FileMan optional. The OpenWRT 24.10.0 distribution was announced, developed for network devices such as routers, switches, and access points. OpenWRT supports 1,970 devices and offers a build system that simplifies cross-compilation and the creation of custom builds. Such builds allow you to create ready-made firmware with all the desired set of pre-installed packages optimized for specific tasks. Ready-made builds are published for 39 target platforms, up from 36 in the previous edition. The Document Foundation has released LibreOffice 25.2. Ready-to-use installation packages have been prepared for various Linux, Windows, and Mac OS distributions. The release of LibreOffice 25.2 is labeled Community and will be supported by enthusiasts and is not aimed at enterprise use. LibreOffice Community is available to everyone for free without restrictions, without exception, including corporate users. For enterprises that need additional service, products of LibreOffice Enterprise family are being developed separately, for which partner companies will provide full support, the ability to receive long-term updates, and additional functions such as service-level agreements. The standard C library PicoLib-C 1.8.9 has been published. It is developed by Keith Packard for use on embedded devices with limited storage and RAM. During development, part of the code was borrowed for the new Lib library from the Cygwin project and AVR-Lib-C developed for Atmel AVR microcontrollers. The PicoLib-C code is distributed under the BSD license. Library assembly is supported for the following architectures: ARM 32-bit, AArch64, i386, RISC-V, x86-64, M68, PowerPC, Lattice Mico 32, Long Arch, and OpenRISC. Initially, the project was developed as NewLib-Nano and was aimed at reworking some resource-intensive NewLib functions that were problematic to use on embedded devices with minimal RAM. The code was also cleaned from components not supplied under the BSD license that were not used in the build for embedded devices. The Meson toolkit was used for the build. OnlyOffice Document Server 8.3 has been released, implementing a server for OnlyOffice online editors and collaborative work. Editors can be used to work with text documents, tables, and presentations. The project code is distributed under the free AGPL v3 license. At the same time, they released the OnlyOffice Desktop Editors 8.3, built on a single codebase with online editors. Desktop editors are designed as desktop applications that are written in JavaScript using web technologies, but combine in one application, the client and server components designed for use on the user's local system without access to an external service. For collaboration on your own hardware, you can also use the Nextcloud Hub platform, which provides full integration with OnlyOffice. Ready-made builds are formed for Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. OnlyOffice claims full compatibility with MS Office and Open Document formats. Plugins are available for creating templates and adding videos from YouTube. Ready-made builds are created for Windows and Linux Deb and RPM packages. The Min 1.34 browser has been released, offering a minimalist interface focused on address bar manipulation. The browser is built using Electron. The Min interface is written in JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. The code is distributed under the Apache 2.0 license. Builds are available for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. Min supports navigation through open pages via a tab system. Such functions as opening a new tab next to the current tab, hiding unused tabs, grouping tabs, and viewing all tabs as a list are available. There are tools for building lists of deferred tasks / links for reading in the future, as well as a bookmark system with full-text search support. The browser has a built-in ad blocking system and code for tracking visitors. It is possible to disable the loading of images and scripts. Insurance company Geico has published a preliminary release of TuxTape, a toolkit that allows you to deploy your own infrastructure for creating, building, and delivering live patches for the Linux kernel. Live patches allows you to apply fixes to the Linux kernel on the fly without rebooting or stopping the system. The project code is written in Rust and is distributed on the Apache 2.0 license. Live patches with vulnerability fixes are provided for their distributions by such companies as Red Hat, Oracle, Canonical, and SUSE, but only low-level tools for working with patches are open, and the patches themselves are created behind closed doors. TuxTape aims to provide a native system for creating and delivering live patches that is vendor agnostic and adaptable to any Linux kernel, not just distribution-specific kernel packages. TuxTape can generate live patches that are compatible with Red Hat's Kpatch toolkit. Patches are built as loadable kernel modules that replace functions in the kernel, using the ftrace subsystem to redirect to new functions included in the module. Tuxtape can track Linux kernel vulnerability fixes posted to the Linux-CVE-announce mailing list and the Git repository, rank the vulnerabilities by severity, determine applicability to supported Linux kernels, and generate live patches based on regular patches to LTS kernel branches. The applicability of source patches is assessed by profiling kernel builds. Patches with vulnerabilities that do not affect the target kernel are ignored. SysVinit 3.14 initialization system has been published. It continues to be used in distributions such as Devuan, Slackware, Debian GNU Hurd, and AntiX. The code is written in C and is distributed under the GPL v2 license. The versions of the InstServe and StartPar utilities used in conjunction with SysVinit have not changed. The InstServe utility is designed to manage the boot process, taking into account the dependencies between init scripts, and StartPar is used to ensure parallel launch of several scripts during the system boot process. The new version of SysVinit restored support for the destdir variable in source/makefile, which is necessary for building on Arch Linux. The maximum line size in the etc init tab configuration file has been increased from 127 to 253 characters. Pale Moon 33.6.0 web browser has been published. It was forked from the Firefox codebase to provide higher performance, preserve the classic interface, minimize memory consumption, and provide additional customization systems. Pale Moon builds are generated for Windows and Linux x86-64. The project code is distributed under the MPLv2 Mozilla Public License. The project adheres to the classic interface layout and with the provision of wide customization options. The removed components include DRM, Social API, WebRTC, PDF Viewer, Crash Reporter, code for collecting statistics, parental control tools, and accessibility options. Compared to Firefox, the browser has returned support for extensions using Zool and retains the ability to use both full-fledged and lightweight design themes. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.